Max Food is 46 real food ingredients on demand for real muscle building meals and real results fast.
This is Scott Welch, Muscle Insider Magazine. I'm here with Roger Lockridge, Kevin McAllister, Olympia 2022. It's all over now. What happened tonight?
It seemed like it had just started, and all of a sudden, boom, we're at the after party. But this has been a historical night. 3 new champions crowned in one evening, 6 overall throughout the entire weekend. And only 5 were able to retain their titles, but it was a very big night. The fans enjoyed it, and I'm sure all the athletes are now ready to get their cheap food on.
Now, Hadi Chupin for the win. How are you feeling about
that? He's the first guy from Iran to win the title. I think he's actually the first non-English speaking champion as well. And the 17th Mr. Olympia, he looked incredible on both nights. I actually thought Derek Lunsford improved tonight, but, Hadi Chupin was still on point. This was the best we had ever seen him, and I think he's a deserving champion.
Kevin McAllister, what are your thoughts on Derek Lunsford? He almost made history tonight, almost winning 2 different categories, never been done before in Olympia history.
His package was complete. Just a little bit off tonight, I think, from Friday. To me, he just dropped a bit, and Hadi just turned it up. Hadi kind of just closed the door that everybody thought was open. Derek, though, was right there. 212 could have been open. History was right there, But Hadi's a proper champ. Like, he's the proper champion for this year.
Big Ramy, he was criticized for a lot of things tonight, especially the lower lats when he turned around on the back double bicep. What were your thoughts? Do you think that affected the judging?
I think it certainly did. I think it was 2 factors. One, the lower lats, and number 2, he once again tried to be Big Ramy instead of Shredded Ramy. Steve Weinberger had done interviews leading up to the Olympia, and he had said he wanted to see Ramy shredded. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
The progress photos we saw on social media all showed him so dry, and they had the death face and all that. This is one of the things for the fans at home are going to see the photos, and then they're going to see enhanced photos, and then they're going to cry, some kind of foul.
Right. Well, there's 2 issues with that. Number 1, you control the lighting in photos you take. You don't control the lights on the stage. And number 2, it wasn't as much maybe about Ramy being off as Hadi, Derek, and even Nick Walker, who placed 3rd, being on. Like, all 3 of those gentlemen were much better this year than they were last year. Even Derek in the 212, moving up to the open, he looked incredible. So I think it wasn't necessarily Ramy getting punished, but those other 3 men doing their work, I think they got rewarded for it.
But 5th place.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if he got 4th and then Brandon got 5th. Brandon looked incredible. He had the bigger legs. I don't know if he was holding water. I don't know if he was having trouble missing his peak or hitting his peak. But whatever it was, the last 2 Olympia champions to be at the bottom of the top 5, I think that's historical. I'm not sure about it ever even happened before.
No, it's I think, too, with Ramy, it was his presence on stage. He didn't have the presence of a champion. He had a defeated look. He had a defeated body language. He stood to the side. He didn't fight to get in the center. He literally stood off. He was a foot off, like way over to the side. You're coming in to fight for your title. You don't sit at the side. You push in. That's what a winner does. And tonight he acted like a loser. And unfortunately for him, that's it. He's out of the top 3. He's out of the championship spot. He should have been fighting for that title. To me, he seemed like almost comfortable giving away his crown. And unfortunately for him, that's it for him. He's done.
And Nick Walker, what were your thoughts on Nick Walker, Kevin?
His attitude, I saw him at Meet the Olympians. I wasn't too impressed with his personality that night. But he came. He brought his game. He backed it up. He likes to talk smack online. And, Blessings, unfortunately, is going to have to, get the chatter online for a while about that for a 3rd call-out. But Nick came, and he improved. His tightness is there. His waist shrank down. His stage presence is better. Will he ever get a title with that waist and that blockiness? Seems to be going in a symmetry route. But, hey, Hadi's the comparable, right?
And, the thing about Hadi was he had talked about Ramy not fighting. Hadi was fighting for it. Like, he hit every pose with intensity. He was first one in, last one out, which is what Chad Nichols used to always tell Ramy to do. And, he was even fighting during the pose down. He was trying to bum guys and get him out of the way, and he was being aggressive. And, he actually kind of got under the skin of a couple of the other top 10 finishers, including William Bonac. And I think that was something that made a big difference tonight.
Now we had a lot of wins for Canada here. Missy Truscott comes back, gets her title back, representing Canada, even though they listed her as American. And we also had Chris Bumstead obviously returning. What were your thoughts on Chris's condition tonight?
Chris came as everybody expected Chris to show up, and that's why he is who he is, and that's why there were fans around the Olympia Expo and in the audience with mustaches and bullets trying to look like Chris Bumstead. He has got a following like no other. It is because he has a physique like no other. It's not like there's any controversial about this decision. Props to Ramon for showing up the way he did and being number 2. He, in my opinion, is going to be a champion in this division someday. But as long as Bumstead is here and as long as Bumstead keeps doing what he's been doing, Canada's going to hold on to the Classic Gazebo Olympia for as long as he wants them to.
Sean Clarita, Mutant-sponsored athlete, comes back and then gets his title back.
Yeah, and, I can't imagine the pressure that he's been dealing with because he's going to be an expecting father soon. Like within a days, he's going to be a dad for the first time. I had just talked to him, and he was more excited about that than he was having the title for all the obvious reasons. But for him to be going through all that and doing prep during the holidays and, feeling this pressure of winning the title back because he had such a large fan base and he had Mutant backing him up, such a loyal company to their athletes. And, but he held up. That's why he's a champion. He, withstood the pressure, and he brought it.
Amazing. Now, there was 2 Mutant athletes that won. Andrea Shaw wins the Olympia title in women's bodybuilding again. Tell me a bit about that.
It's she owns it. She was confident. Physique, obviously, is, class act all the way there. She's got the physique, the body, the size, the conditioning. She's not overly conditioned, so it's not crazy like Iris Kyle hard, condition like that. There's enough softness there to keep the femininity of female bodybuilding, but she owns it. And like back to the Rami and back to the Hottie thing, she gets the presence, she stays there, she puts the body on display in an art form as well as the hardcore bodybuilding fan out there, and she just claims the title, and she's not ready to give it away anytime soon.
Women's physique, new Olympia winner has been crowned on that. Natalia Coelho, I think she's 27 years of age, I think it is. Phenomenal just to see that X-frame. Just incredible to see the conditioning that she brought and just how much of a positive role model she's been for the entire category. I think she's going to make a great champion. What do you think?
I believe she is going to make a great champion, and props to Sarah Villegas for doing everything she had been doing in support of the division. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding women's physique and which shows were going to hold contests and which weren't. And she had been the standard bearer as well as the mother figure for that division. She's wanted to support as much as she can. Natalia did the same thing. She has been very vocal about supporting the division and the athletes and the fans that support them. And as far as the Olympia this weekend goes, she absolutely brought it. That is the best I had ever seen her look in her 5-6 years that she's been doing this. Sarah had 2 issues that she was facing. I think she was holding a little water in the lower body, and in prejudging her tanning was off. I'm not sure what it was, but there were splotches. And, Natalia had everything on point. Everything was coordinated, and she's a champion now. And I don't know how well she's going to – or I don't know how long she's going to hold on to that title because Sarah's going to be back. Brooke Walker is on the rise. Brooke Walker is going to be an incredible champion herself someday. But Natalia absolutely deserved it this year for sure.
In a bikini change, we had Jennifer Dory defending her title, was second this year. New champion crown.
This is the second time in 3 years she's been second. Maureen Blagisco, she was just as shocked as everybody else was. I think she even expected Jennifer to be hearing and still. And, look, she was great. And Jennifer was great, too. I wouldn't have been surprised if Jennifer had retained. Yeah. Like, it was definitely a judge's call. That's why they're in their seats, and I was in mine. But nonetheless, congrats to Maureen. And I'm sure Jennifer will come back and regain the title. I was actually surprised about Laura Lee Chapados.
I had to present 5th place to her on behalf of Muscle Tech. That was hard because I know Jen. Obviously that was tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with her. I don't have any idea. The law of the build-up had been the 4 former champions or the 4 past champions, and Laura Lee as the Arnold champion, Pittsburgh winner, New York winner. She was on a roll.
Really good roll year. Yeah.
But unfortunately, she hit a roadblock, and that roadblock was Maureen.
That was awesome. Now we have new men's physique Olympia winner has been crowned. It's going to be exciting for the category.
Yeah, I actually had Brandon winning that, so I'm actually surprised that Aaron took it. But hey, that's why the game is played, and that's why it's not on paper. There was a lot of talk about Jeremy Buendia coming back and the battle of the 4-time champions. Aaron derailed that tonight for sure.
Aaron Banks dedicated his win to his aunt, who has been deceased. So that was really special to see him up there at the end of that. And just what amazing, overall, Olympia has just been a great festival as a whole. The expo was packed. The night show was just awesome. The gala, the production value with the Zappos Theater. Zappos Theater here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Zappos was an incredible place. I hope they bring it back here again. And the Expo de Venetian was great. The fans are certainly back. Bodybuilding is certainly back. With everything that had come out of the pandemic, for us to come back and to have this kind of event this weekend in Vegas, it was one for the history books, and it's one that many fans are going to remember long after they get on their planes and go back home.
And this is Scott Welch, Muscle Insider Magazine. Check out all of our contest coverage at muscleinsider.com. And thank you to you, Mutant, for sponsoring this contest coverage.
Flex Food is 46 real food ingredients on demand for real muscle building meals and real results fast.